Alright, YouTube, we're going to talk a little bit about drone registration. I'm going to keep this pretty short. So the FAA now has a requirement that your drone, which these are multi-rotors or quadcopters, most people refer to them that. I think drone is just kind of a media term. If it's over, what is it, 0.55 pounds, which I think is 2.4 or 249.5 grams, has to be registered. So of all these sitting here, and not that there are that many, there's only one that's going to need to be registered. So, and that's with battery. So in order to get it in the air with props with battery, if it weighs more than 249.5 grams, it's got to be registered. That is if you live in the U.S. I don't know what other countries are doing right now. It is free until February, so we've got some time, and you can register. I think it's $5. I think the initial cost to make it free, they charge you $5, and then they return the $5, and that's their mechanism for verification a little bit. So it's kind of twofold. You give them your information as far as your name, address, and then you also give them a little bit of verification for that through banking. Some people aren't going to do it, and that's just like anything else. But what I find most interesting about this is that there's really been no cases that I've heard of reported that people have gotten, hurt on any sort of widespread basis. We've seen people flying these aerial photography drones over marathons, and they go down or something like that. We saw, who was that singer? Enrique Iglesias grab the camera drone and get his fingers all chopped up. I think on YouTube they have a drone fail video. So it seems as though this is geared mainly at air safety, not people safety. So I'm curious how they came into that 249.5 grams or 0.55 pounds number. But a neighbor of mine who is in law enforcement, he's a police officer. He actually patrols our own neighborhood. I sent him a text and I said, "So what are you guys hearing about the drone registration? Or are you getting any sort of training or knowledge about that?" And he responded that he said initially no, and then he sent me another text that said, "I had to Google what you were saying to know what you were talking about." So the FAA is making a recommendation, or has passed a law that in order to fly these, you have to register them. But law enforcement, people on the ground, don't know anything about that. So what good is it? So I guess if your drone goes up in the air and goes through somebody's prop, they'll locate a bit that fell clear to the ground, some 600 or more feet, and they'll see, well, oh, that plane hit this drone, and it's got its number right here, so we know who to fine for flying that high. It seems so improbable. It seems like they passed this in order to appease the media somehow, or the people that were really just afraid of these things getting out of hand. I think the better approach would have been to give law enforcement the tools they needed in order to be able to see someone who's doing something risky and make them stop, or fine them, or jail them. Or confiscate their quad, something like that, something reasonable. I think requiring everybody to register isn't a good idea. I'm not necessarily against it, but I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it'll actually help with any supposed problem, if there is one. I think they need to give local law enforcement the ability to ticket, fine, and jail someone. So if someone's got a DJI with a camera on it and they're hovering outside some windows, that they would be charged with the same offenses that if they had their face up against your window. Or if they had flown their quad onto your property and damaged something, just as though they were the ones that physically damaged whatever it was. If you flew a quad into a car and caused a dent, you should have to pay for it. You shouldn't be flying a quad that you can't control that close to vehicles or people. So it seems we've kind of gone the wrong way about it, and maybe this was more about the media. I hope it doesn't kill this hobby. I think it's a lot of fun. I want to get more and more involved. So register your drone if you want. It's supposed to be required. Do it quickly. You can register yourself once. For drones like this, you don't have to give them any information about the drone, but you do have to have the registration number or the license number, I can't remember what they call it, on the drone, and you do have to have the digital paperwork or the printout of your registration with you. So if someone, you know, the FAA drone police were to walk up to you, you can present them with that, hey, this is registered, and then, I don't know, they just go away or they watch you fly and enjoy their time as well. But you can have as many quads as you want, and you only have to register once. So you're registering, the quad isn't registering. So is this a person registration or a drone registration? I don't know. We'll see. Post your comments below if you'd like, and thanks for tuning in.